Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at a scenario where Bohemia, aka Czechia, forms an empire. Now this empire is not like a Czechian empire or something like that. It is Bohemia, basically. So now let's take a look at what happens. So they look around to see their weakest neighbors after turning into a monarchy. And the weakest one they find is either Austria or Slovakia. Germany is economical power. Poland is just strong. They're both really just strong. So, they try to invade either Slovakia or Austria. They decide to invade Slovakia first as they are a little bit weaker. Let me switch my colors. So, the Bohemians begin, and my tolerance is too high. So the Bohemians begin their push into southern Slovakia as they manage to cut western Slovakia up. They push into the north. They push over across the border with Poland, and a push on all fronts is made. Eventually, the full Czechian army mobilizes, and they begin to push fully and cut off a major Slovak army from the mainland. At this point, Slovakia is forced to surrender. And it's fully integrated into the Bohemian Empire. Seriously. Okay, so after Czechoslovakia was reunited, they look at Austria and they're like, yes. They're like, yeah, let's do this. So they invade Austria. The invasion of Austria is pretty swift as their capital is pretty much next to Bohemia after all. So they push in from the east and they capture Slovakia. Vienna. And Austria surrenders. And the Bohemians will not take all of their land, saying that Austria is not necessarily small, and it would kind of be hard for the government to handle that much land at once. So they just decide to take some land and then go from there. So they take their old Bohemian lands, leaving Vienna to the Austrians. And this new border is what we're working with. And after this new border is made, they make a puppet of Austria and occupy it. And after that, they invade Slovenia through Austria. Obviously, this is going to be a pretty swift invasion as Slovenia is not that strong. And my recolor button won't work. So, the Austrians and the Bohemians begin to push into northern Slovenia, and they split them off into two, which makes them surrender. I might not be including capitals that much because a lot of European nations, I don't really know where their capital is. So, that's why that's going on. And next they decide to invade Croatia. And Croatia also calls in Bosnia to the war. Because I guess they're brothers. But this triggers Serbia, which declares war on Kosovo. This also, if you get mad because your country lost in the Balkans, well, I'm just going off what I know because the Balkans are interesting. So Montenegro joins in on Serbia's side. Bulgaria joins in on Serbia's side, wanting Macedonia. Greece joins in on the Allies, I guess. And this makes Turkey join in on the enemies, I guess. enemies. This also makes Cyprus join in. And this is causing a pretty big war. Good job, Bohemia. So this is going to be a pretty interesting war. The Austrians and the Bohemians begin their mega push into Croatia as they manage to capture all the lands bordering it. They split them into two, pushing into Bosnia. They also in the southern Balkans, Bulgaria and Serbia are absolutely kicking Macedonia's butt, because obviously Macedonia is not as strong as Bulgaria and Serbia combined. A push from Montenegro and Serbia into Kosovo is made. Kosovo surrenders, and Albania was not the last to fall. I mean, the first to fall, but they do get pushed back in the north, as the whole of the panhandle of Greece is taken by the Turkish and the Bulgarians. Obviously, Cyprus is going to get absolutely rolled over because they already own northern Cyprus, and Cyprus surrenders. And all these countries in the Middle East are like, we're not about to make this a world war, so yeah. Croatia also surrenders. Bosnia gets more land taken. Rebels in Bosnia begin to pop up. And they're Serbian ones, so I guess they just immediately get occupied by Serbia afterward. The Serbians begin to push, and they connect all their rebellions. Bosnia capitulates out of, I don't know, something. North Macedonia is getting absolutely rolled over still. They are still getting slapped in the face. Also, they continue on one front, so that they manage to connect the Bulgarian fronts and the Turkish fronts with the Serbian fronts. And this is not looking good for the Allies, or whatever. Crete is half taken, referring to the Ottomans. And then Crete is fully taken. A landing on this island that I don't know. Is it really even an island? I think it's connected. Well, anyways, Turkey lands and captures Athens, which is like right there, I guess. Greece surrenders, as well as the rest of the crew. Now, let's look at this peace treaty. This awesome peace treaty. So, the first thing that I'm going to be covering in the peace treaty is that Bohemia gains all of this. And since their government is probably stable enough to take over all of this as, like, part of them. Also, Vojvodina gets some land, as well as the Serbian part of Bosnia being released and annexed by Serbia. Montenegro gets a little part of Kosovo, while Kosovo is destroyed by Serbia. And both of these are annexed by Serbia. Well, except that Bulgaria gets a lot of the Macedon land, because they fought this war as well. So all the land in red so far is going to Serbia, except for these two. And all these as well. Oh my god. Okay, so all the red in the Balkans so far is going to Serbia, as well as North Albania being partitioned by, as well as getting land taken from them. And overall, Montenegro and Serbia unite, forming this weird kind of Yugoslavia thing. Now it's time to just draw the borders. Also, Thrace goes to Bulgaria. I think that's what Thrace looks like. I don't feel like having a map and getting it out, so And this goes to Turkey, this goes to Bulgaria. Let me just draw the borders really quick. So boom and boom. Yeah, this is probably, this is not where I'm going to end the video, but like I'm almost done with this video because like that was a huge border map. So, yeah. Also Montenegro gets this. Also they unite with Serbia and all that fun stuff. They annex Kosovo and all this and all this and all this. All that as well. So I'm basically just drawing the borders, and it might take a little bit, and I don't know how to make time lapses, and I don't know how to cut into another recording spot, so you guys are just gonna have to watch me while I talk, I guess. So yeah, this was a pretty big war. I'm not gonna please anybody with this war if you're from the Balkans, because like I just went off what knowledge I know, because I don't know huge about the Balkans, and I'm not really going to please that many people at all. So Bosnia is just left with this little chunk, and yeah, this goes to Serbia, I guess. No, let's give Croatia no coast. It's been stolen by Bosnia. And oh yeah, Turkey owns that now, as well as half of Crete. There. Boom. And then every country that wasn't fully taken over just gets puppeted by somebody, because obviously the people who won, the Balkans are really savage down there, so they're like, yeah, you're my puppet state now, enemy. So yeah, these are all puppet states as well. And this all goes to Bohemia. And I did the wrong color. So yeah, that's the peace treaty. The Treaty of Prague, I guess. Yeah, the Treaty of Prague. So this is a puppet of Bohemia. This is a puppet of Serbia. This is a puppet of Serbia. This is a joint puppet of Serbia and Bulgaria, as well as Turkey. And this is what the peace treaty comes up with. They also formed the Balkan Alliance. So I guess I could just like put all of the countries in this dark red. And that's the Balkan Alliance. Boom. And with the Balkan Alliance fully mobilized, they mobilize on the full border with Hungary that they have. And after Hungary gets invaded by and absolutely slapped, they're about to get absolutely slapped, Romania joins in to save them, which triggers Moldova. And since basically, Romania is in NATO, by the way, but a lot of these countries are in NATO, so in the EU, so like those alliances don't exist anymore. Just say that. So the whole of the Balkan Alliance begins their push into Hungary, but not Romania, because they didn't mobilize on the border with Romania because they didn't think that they would join. At the same time, I also think that Romania might have joined against Hungary just because of the whole history with them thing. But that doesn't matter. Also, the Bulgarians also had mobilized a little bit already on the Romanian border, so they begin to push up the coast and capture all of the Romanian coast. Now, after this, Budapest is spearheaded to, and it cuts off a large army. They capture it, and Hungary surrenders. We also see a invasion into Romania, a full-scale invasion. And I'm going to zoom out and turn my brush up because I'm just going to basically do a time-lapse in time. So they basically just push into all these territories. And then Romania is forced to surrender after Bucharest, which is like right there, I think. is taken and most of their land is taken, which means Moldova has to surrender as well. So, looking at the Treaty of Bucharest, I guess. And this is what the borders look like. Bohemia gets all this. Serbia gets all this. Croatia gets all this. Even though it's a puppet state, they get all this. Bulgaria gains all of the coast of Romania, and they border Ukraine. And Moldova, they don't really get slapped around, just mostly Romania. And this is what the border between Serbia and Bulgaria and Romania looks like, just like this. So yeah, that's that peace treaty right there. So I'm just gonna go to my secondary, and I'm going to select all of this. Okay, and that is not where the video will end. I'm just trying to make a longer video. I don't know what the recording time is, and I'm going to check it in a few minutes. So, yeah, these are the borders. Also, basically, Bohemia annexes their puppet, Croatia. So they lasted for 4 days after the treaty, and then they got annexed in the second part of the treaty. And that's basically the whole peace treaty. And yeah. So that's basically the whole peace treaty, just right there. Might as well slap it on. So yeah, Romania and Hungary got slapped in the face like a pancake in a pan. Not in a pan, by a pan. So got slapped by a pan in the face. And that is the whole of the peace treaty. Now, this weird Yugoslavia thing that I was talking about, it's Serbia. It's basically solely Serbia, and just they expanded, united with Montenegro, pretty much annexed North Macedonia. But a dispute between Serbia, aka New Yugoslavia, and Bulgaria continues in the North Macedon area, and this leads to an alliance war. So, pretty much, the sides look like this. Bulgaria declares war on Serbia. Most of the alliance helps Serbia because of this aggressive action. Also, don't mind this red right here. They're on Serbia's side, as well as the puppet states, except for this one, because that's Bulgaria's puppet state. Moldova joins. Hungary joins, and pretty much all of the alliance joins on one side, and that is the side of Serbia. And the Fourth Balkan War begins. So a massive push into Moldova is created, and they pretty much get wiped out immediately. They just get wiped out immediately. And a push into Bulgaria from all the allies on the other side, and Bulgaria gets slapped. Romania is about to get slapped as well, because many million troops enter Romania at fast speeds using blitzkrieg-like tactics to destroy the Romanians at all costs, taking back their land as well. Let me just recolor this. Yeah, that was a really short war because of like a whole alliance declaring war on two countries. Not ideal. Also, I don't know why I colored this that way. And that is the end of that war. And they all decide to just safely occupy them until the second part of the peace treaty rolls out in 7 hours. So Bulgaria and Romania are basically just straight up under occupation. And 7 hours later, the second part of the peace treaty comes into place. No territory is lost from them because they're part of an alliance. And that is not where I'm going to leave it. But I do need to check the time. Okay. That's not bad, honestly. So, yeah. Also, this country right here, Liechtenstein, gets annexed. And my brush is like mega sized. So they basically just get annexed. Really small country. Not that big a deal. And that is where I'm going to leave it off. Also, this map is a little outdated, I guess, because, yeah. Hold on, let me just... Yeah, so people don't get mad at me. And, also, I don't know why this map doesn't show the exclave of Azerbaijan. So, there's your exclave Azerbaijan. And, I'll see you guys next video, or if I post another, alternative future, I guess I'll see you there. I'm probably not going to premiere it. So, I guess, bye. Alright, bye. I'm doing too much with this outro.